Please subscribe Car News. Tour GSE. No, this isn't some irregular protection coat or the human quality that causes swollen feet and sweltering climate. It's the inward assignment of a motor worked by Toyota. Also, it's a genuine dandy. Of the V8 design with 5.0 liters of cylinder-cleared territory, it's the pulsating heart that controls the scope of execution reared Lexus models, including the brand's high-style LC 500. Appearing as though an idea vehicle culled directly off a car expo turntable, this sultry roadster is a stunning bit of car configuration work with more dramatization than a live presentation of Shakespeare's Hamlet with Patrick Stewart playing the eponymous lead. This normally suction motor fires up with excitement, conveying a noteworthy if not stunning 471 strength all the while. Torque times in at 2 pound-feet short of 400. These figures are all that anyone could need to take care of business. However, for example, the positively increasingly workaday Ford Mustang Bullitt conveys 480 horses and 420 pounds-to-foot of turn from a similar removal, chamber check and acceptance group. Maybe architects could have pushed for only somewhat more in the LC 500. By and by, Lexus power plant consummately epitomizes the V8 breed. It's extraordinarily smooth running, zippy and symphonic for sure, giving the driver 7,300 revolutions per minute to play with. Its high, 12.3:1 pressure proportion improves proficiency, as does the incorporation of both port and direct infusion. Having two particular fuel conveyance frameworks permits the motor to work unobtrusively and productively in an expansive scope of conditions. Another brilliant, productivity-supporting stunt. This V8 can run on either the customary auto cycle for greatest execution or it can flawlessly change to the Atkinson cycle during lighter burdens for decreased utilization. The LC 500 is evaluated at 16 miles for every gallon in city driving and 25 miles per gallon on the parkway. Consolidated, it ought to have the option to travel 19 miles on a gallon of oil distillates. These figures are incompletely empowered by a snappy moving, if not exactly impeccably refined 10-speed programmed transmission. Extravagance and execution are quite often contradictory to effectiveness, yet on the off chance that you need a progressively dependable variant of this vehicle, Lexus offers the LC 500 Hours, which is basically something very similar with a hybridized powertrain worked around a V6 motor. As per the US EPA, the LC 500 Hours should average 30 miles per gallon consolidated, however it doesn't have 8 chambers of wrath and it's burdened with a to some degree wonky transmission course of action. Concerning execution, as per the automaker, the V8 fueled LC 500 can hit 60 miles per hour in as meager as 4.4 seconds. Its top speed is electronically restricted to 168 miles per hour. LC models depend on the GAL stage, an establishment they share with the LS. On account of a melange of extravagant materials including high-quality steel, aluminum and carbon fiber strength and plastic, that is CFRP for short, this car apparently has the stiffest unibody structure at any point made by Lexus, one that is more impervious to curving powers than even the brand's unbelievable LFA supercar, which was made to a great extent of carbon fiber and inherent incredibly low volume. Holding mass in line and giving close to 50-50 weight dissemination, the LC 500's hood, front bumpers and entryway skins are made of aluminum. Its drivetrain is likewise mounted toward the back of the front pivot centerline to additionally improve balance. The inward backings for the storage compartment cover and entryways are manufactured of sheet-shaped CFRP. Alongside things like Alcantara-cut seats, dynamic back wheel directing and a deployable spoiler, the accessible $5,960 performance package tosses a carbon fiber rooftop in with the general mishmash. This gives a colorful look and likely a little decrease in weight. The chrome-covered moldings that run along the edges of this board are intended to resemble the cutting edge of a samurai sword. From center to center, the LC 500's wheelbase estimates 113 inches, while its general length is 187.4. Among its main rivals, this vehicle is somewhat littler than a Mercedes-Benz S-Class coupe, however bigger than an Aston Martin Vantage. One adversary that is generally a similar size is BMW's driver-centered 8 Series. With all that mechanical particulars off the beaten path, how about we go to a portion of the LC 500's progressively enthusiastic components? At about any edge, this vehicle connects and catches your eye. From its huge shaft grille filled in with a bin weave surface to the slice-like daytime running lights underneath its triple-component headlights, from my test vehicle's 21-inch, fashioned aluminum wheels, a $2,650 alternative, to max engine thrust propelled tail lights, there's nothing close-lipped regarding the LC 500's looks. Emotional it might be, there's a tad an excessive amount of going on with this vehicle. My preferences are distinctly increasingly limited. Staying up with the fastened down Germans, white, 2 or 3 shades of both silver and dim. Just as dark are all on the outside paint palette, yet Lexus additionally offers some out-and-out overflowing tones. A brilliant red is accessible, likewise for one called flare yellow, the shading my test vehicle was splashed. Both of these adds $595 to the retail cost. Appearing as though it was covered in nuclear hollandaise sauce, this paint makes an effectively difficult to miss vehicle significantly all the more capturing. Furthermore, since this bit of moving figure is a Toyota on a basic level, it's essentially destined to be as solid as a metal forger's blacksmith's iron. Japanese scrupulousness proliferates, from the bodyboard holes that are more slender than a mechanical engineer's scale to the ideal sewing inside to the immaculate paintwork, nothing is strange or erratically collected. Consummate craftsmanship is actually what you'd anticipate from Lexus. One thing that may shock you about the LC500 is its sly inside. By and large referred to for being about as traditionalist as the Alabama State Council, Lexus architects were apparently set free while making this present machine's lodge. Soup to nuts, it's significantly prettier than the vehicle's outside. The dashboard has an outwardly intriguing layered design and the instruments are housed in kind of an nacelle-like case. Buttercream delicate cowhide, and calfskin trim flourish. Architects even went over the edge making the guiding wheel, changing its cross-sectional shape at various points around the edge's periphery to all the more likely oblige different hand positions. Discussion about over-the-top tender loving care. The LC500's front pail seats are strong and agreeable, with the driver's seat power changing in 8 unique ways when you spring for the performance package. There is a rearward sitting arrangement, yet in name as it were. It's so inconceivably tight I didn't endeavor climbing back there. Extremely, the only thing that is in any way important are the 2 front containers. All things considered, you don't purchase a 6-figure costly extravagance car to pull the children to class each day. Another zone of this vehicle that is disappointingly low on space is the storage compartment. At simply 5.4 cubic feet, its payload hold is microscopic. The hybrid model's boot is considerably littler at simply 4.7 solid shapes. In like manner, the LC has a shortage of inside stockpiling. The small glove box is for the most part filled by its Bible-thick proprietor's manual. There's likewise a restricted measure of room in the middle container and only one cup holder. Another inside objection fixates on the visors. When rotated to the side, they don't reach out to cover all the window glass. Taller drivers, with the seat moved more remote back, get blinded by the sun when it's sparkling in from the side. Hey now, folks. Spend the extra $12 on broadening visors, the thoughtful that comes standard on something like a base Honda Civic. The LC500's inside is in vogue and flawlessly made, however it has a couple of blemishes, the most critical of which I haven't referenced at this point. In any case, presently's as acceptable a period as any to discuss this current vehicle's arrangement-breaking shortcoming. I won't beat around the bush, the infotainment framework is a derisive bit of work. From general ease of use to the interface configuration, it's just horrendous. Indeed, the 10.3-inch, high goals show is fresh and mounted in a simple-to-see area, however everything else about it is a train wreck, similar to a train that happened to convey freight cars loaded with radioactive waste that got flung into a significant city's water supply. Truly, that's sort of awful. This present framework's format and menu structure are confounded, yet aggravating things even. You need to utilize a PC-style touchpad to communicate with almost everything. A portion of the atmosphere controls and basic radio capacities do have equipment catches, however for about everything else you have to jab at the touchboard. Truly, an order-line interface would most likely be less diverting to utilize while driving. Thank heavens Apple CarPlay is upheld. It gives something that is natural and easy to comprehend. In case you're a Google aficionado, I have awful news. Android Auto isn't at present offered, and the organization has no designs to, either. Siri, Alexa Mix, Spotify, Audible and different administrations are bolstered, giving considerably greater usefulness. The Lexus Inform App Suite 2.0 gives drivers access to things like NPR One, iHeartRadio, Slacker and Yelp. Concerning well-being gear, each LC is fitted with programmed high shafts, versatile journey control, path keeping help and a lot of other propelled driver helps. Things like a head-up show, constrained slip differential and stopping help are on the whole discretionary. Since I began this audit off with a profound plunge into the LC500's powertrain, you've presumably gotten it's truly acceptable. That 5.0-liter V8 is a magnum opus of building, Smooth, incredible and binaural enjoyment, particularly when the dynamic fumes framework is uncorked. Tip into the throttle, which is annoyingly delicate in the typical driving mode, and at around 3,500 revolutions per minute the motor wakes up, discharging a throaty thunder that will send shudders up the spine of anybody with gas flowing through their circulatory framework. No, this Lexus isn't rocket ship brisk, yet it gives adequate push. Truth be told, the vehicle is so refined and created, it generally feels like you're going about a large portion of the speed you really are,